Hispanic community. The deportations are going on.
Y'all got my back. I got y'all back. We in this together. It's time to fight.
Black and brown, we stand with you guys. I, for one, I am not with his decision. That's not right. We need to unite as one.
Hispanics act just like us. Shit, they family.
We got the motherfucking power as the motherfucking people. You hear me? They can't stop this. And that's how we need to unite as the people. Real talk. I stand with Mexico.
And I'm going to use my voice. If they're coming in here for anybody, these people are my people.
Black community standing up for the Hispanic community, I guess, while the deportations are going on.
Y'all got my back. I got y'all back. We in this together. It's time to fight.
Black and brown, we stand with you guys. I, for one, I am not with his decision. That's not right. We need to unite as one.
Hispanics act just like us. Shit, they family.
We got the motherfucking power as the motherfucking people.
Shalom. First and foremost, for to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashir Kakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in the gospel, brought lifting up the standard of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the Spirit. Lord's way to be edifying. Could this be the beginning of the tribes uniting and becoming that mighty sword that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai spoke about in the book of Zechariah 9? I don't know. We have to wait and see, because we understand that according to the scriptures, the tribes, we were going to come back together once we were brought to the Americas. This is the first time since the time of the split that both kingdoms have successfully, or within succession, have been within the same realm, so to speak, because you got all 12 tribes here in Babylon. Slakia, bit under the weather. But basically, you got Judah, Ephraim, which Judah represents the house of Judah, which is the southern kingdom, Salakia. Then you got the house of Ephraim, which is the northern kingdom, which represents Ephraim on down to Issachar. All 12 tribes of the nation of Israel have seen oppression by the hands of this devil, okay, this so-called white man, and the other nations. Now, as the scriptures say, that all tribes were going to come to the side of the world and be persecuted. Now we're seeing that with this whole migrant mass, this roundup ordeal, because now I heard that they were grabbing up Native Americans, Haitians, you know what I'm saying? People of the West, it just the different tribes, man. And hey, shit, things are happening. All right. I have an article here, and you Jakes, man, you Jakes think everything is a damn joke. Like, you Keishas ain't gonna do shit but get your ass bulldozed out here. All right, like, you think, like, I mean, look at this character. Like, she's talking about you standing with Issachar. When Esau meets you with that adversity and with that force, a lot of you gonna reconsider your actions, man. Like, if this is really what you want, because see, you tribes talk a lot of shit, but you don't really want no smoke, man. This is why Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai is gonna raise up the elect, okay, and they're gonna do his bidding one way or another, okay, because the Lord said that he's made the creature his weapon in vengeance, okay, according to Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. So there's gonna come a time that the tribes are gonna clash with you heathens, and because you got protesters erupting all over the country regarding the shit that ICE is doing by departing the tribes. And you remember Trump mentioned that he has 30,000 beds at Guantanamo Bay to deport the most violent criminals in America, which that starts with your own people, my man. Okay, if you want to avoid, or if you want crime to cease, first and foremost, you need to start with boycotting your own people, because we know that you so-called white people, you commit most of the crimes, but yet you get least of the time for it. How the hell does Jake only commit 29% of the crimes, but yet they have a 70% incarceration rate? But you Edomites, man, you create damn near 49% of the crime, more than that, but yet you only fill up the jails within a few percent, 15, 20%, if that. something don't make sense, man. And we're not even talking about all white collar crimes. We're just talking about in general. So, I mean, you do the math on it. But anyway, hey, this could possibly be something that's going to get the tribes roused up, because now you see Judah basically saying that they're going to come to the defense of Ephraim, which is northern kingdom, which consists of Issachar as well. Hey, prophecy is moving. So let's see what the Lord does. But anyway, I got an article here from Zero Hedge, and it says illegal migrant protests ramp up in U.S. cities in response to Trump's deportations. And I remember, myself was speaking on it. I'm like, when they do these mass deportations, there's going to be some kickback on that. Okay, people are going to protest and they're going to riot and they're going to fight, because people ain't just going to go willingly, man. And Esau know that. And that's the reason why he has his particular police forces outside of ICE, okay, with the local law enforcement, bounty hunters. You have other different police groups that's in aid with ICE, okay? But it says here, civil actions from the political left are notoriously seasonal, and the winter cold usually keeps fragile progressive indoors. But however, in southern states where the temps are warming up, we're getting an early glimpse of what larger U.S. cities will look like with the arrival of spring. So basically, they're talking about this spreading, like cities like Chicago, L.A., New York, the more liberal cities. It says here, but it says illegal migrants and their leftist allies are up in arms this week, and they're feeling bold. But it says Donald Trump's mass deportation initiatives, which have so far focused on criminal gangs, violent offenders, and are unacceptable, they say. And I question that as well, because how do you know who you're grabbing up unless you got a dossier on every so-called illegal that came across the border? And then who's who, where is what, where they located. So basically you're targeting those people. But I believe, just me personally, that he's grabbing up random people, because ain't no way in hell you're picking people out of a lineup and saying they're violent. Like, I feel like that's what Esau was doing. He's going up to people who he deem or who he speculates to be violent, and then he just arresting them. Okay, same thing with Gad. How the hell are you locking up Gadites and this is their land? But it says protests groups of 100 and in some cases thousands of people have erupted in San Diego, LA, San Francisco, Dallas, Atlanta, Phoenix, and a handful of other cities. It says the events have remained generally peaceful, though in some cases protesters have blocked traffic and attacked vehicles trying to get through. So things are heating up out here. All right. But it says mass deportations have received the wide support of 66% of U.S. citizens backing the policy in light of the border crisis created by the Biden administration. It says current projections indicate that 16 million to 20 million illegals, I thought it's really more than that, but it says currently reside in the U.S. with up to 10 million entering the country in the past 4 years alone, which DHS has admitted that 85% of migrants caught at the border were allowed to enter under amnesty rules during the Biden administration. It says official government statistics have proven to be faulty, reporting only half the actual number of migrants entering the U.S. at any given time. So basically it's more than that. All right. It says it is hard to imagine many countries outside the U.S. or Europe where illegal migrants are so entitled that they're willing to demand access by taking the streets. But here it is. But imagine in a foreign arm march up to the southern border and then threw a temper tantrum because the U.S. wouldn't let them invade. But this is essentially what is happening now. But you don't understand that a lot of these people, they have right to this land, okay? Because before Esau came over here, this land actually belonged to the indigenous people of this land, okay? The Taínos, the Mexican Indians, or the Aztecs, fucking Native Americans, Seminole Indians. Okay, this is their land first. So for you to sit up here and call somebody illegal, you displace a nation of people, and then you set up a wicked-ass judicial system to police people, calling this place a sovereign land, but yet you have laws that impinge on people's infringe on people's freedoms. That's not sovereign, man. Okay? But it says, but a common mantra among protesters is that no human is illegal on stolen land. It says it's actually conquered land, and the conquerors get to make the rules. It's stolen, okay? They stole it from God. It wasn't like a straight. I mean, you had wars, You had the Civil War, you had the Spanish-American War, the French War, the Revolutionary War, the Civil War. But even then, you had the Gullah Wars, and Gav fought for their country. But even then, you came up with treaties and policies to supplant the motherland. So you stole it. But it says, the more diplomatic illegal alien position that is migrant rights are human rights, but human rights do not give foreign a license to invade other countries or to break that country's laws. But essentially, is that what America is doing? Okay, isn't America going in places like Syria, Iraq, Taiwan, and invading their lands and changing their structure, making the women men and the men women, and giving women rights and stealing resources and dropping bombs on innocent villages? Isn't that what Esau was doing? But see, it's a problem when it's done to him. But it says here, but it's rather convenient to use human rights as a social justice shield when a majority of illegals are actively siphoning welfare handouts and other subsidies paid for by legal citizens. But what about the human rights of born Native Americans? But it says another argument from migrants is that they make America great by gracing the U.S. with their presence. But one may notice that most of these rallies, there is hardly an American flag in sight. But in fact, every march is canvassed in the red, white, and green of the Mexican flag. But this would suggest that the migrants have far more loyalty to Mexico than to the U.S., and their presence in the States is not part of some immigrant dream to assimilate into American culture. Rather, it is common for illegals to see the U.S. as a cash cow and a place to sneak in, grab as many handouts and as much money as possible, and then wire that wealth back to Mexico or any number of countries where they plan to retire. Okay, and so what? Okay, if they come up here to make money to take care of their families, if you didn't harbor the resources of different countries and so forth, like Haiti, Tibet, Mexico, if you didn't harbor the resources of these other nations, then they wouldn't have to fucking depend on you for no goddamn handouts. It's like you take from people, and then when they take from you, you have a damn problem with it. Which proved that Esau is the devil. But peep this, then we'll get the precepts.
We start tonight with a large protest in National City where demonstrators took to the streets calling for change. It was a wild scene most of the evening as hundreds of people rallied against the Trump administration's immigration policies. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. CBS 8's Elizabeth Sanchez was at the protest. She explains what sparked this demonstration and shares the message from those taking part.
Behind me, you can see hundreds of protesters who have gathered on Highland in National City. They got here late this afternoon, and many of them found out about this protest on social media.
The sounds echoed by protesters symbolize solidarity with the immigrant community. As one protester climbed a light pole and hoisted a Mexican flag, those around him cheered on, carrying signs opposing the recent ICE raids and Trump administration immigration policies.
We make America great. We are here. We do so much for this country.
As the protest unfolded, a fight broke out, prompting other protesters to intervene and break it up. From the air, you can see protesters filling the streets and blocking traffic as motorcycles perform donuts, adding a dramatic and attention-grabbing element to the demonstration. Police responded to the scene but didn't intervene, instead just closing off the streets. The signs read, "Don't bite the hand that feeds you."
I'm tired of politicians talking about Mexicanos. I'm tired. If it wasn't for us, this economy would be in the tank.
And that's absolutely right, man. And that's the reason why Pharaoh didn't want to let the children of Israel go out of Egypt, because he understood that we the one that made Egypt great. So they're talking all this shit about the migrants. Who's going to work your jobs? Who's going to work your minimum wage jobs? Who's going to clean your buildings? Who's going to do your construction for half off? Who's going to build your roofs? Okay, because a lot of people that work with immigrants and so forth, a lot of them weren't showing up to work, man. Okay, a lot of people wasn't showing up to work. Factories were empty because they was afraid. Because they understand how wicked Esau is, man. And a lot of them just really came over here to get the wealth so they can take care of their families. But yeah, you give $1 billion to Israel annually and money to Ukraine to start forever wars. But yeah, people that's actually trying to work and make a decent living, you want to come and you want to take everything that they got, man. which proves that you ain't nothing but the goddamn devil. Okay? So matter of fact, let's do this real quick. Let me get a couple of precepts. Zechariah, now we'll come back to that. Let's go to Psalms. Damn, my allergies fucking with me. But let's get this in Psalms. No, Proverbs, Salakia. Proverbs 28:3. It says, a poor man that oppresseth the poor is like a sweepy rain which leaveth no food. And Esau, even though he's rich, he's still a poor man because he's gotten his things through rape, robbery, and murder. All right. It says, a sweepy rain which leaveth no food, and they that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as them that keep the law contend with them. But the point be, verse 3, okay? Oppression is like the sweepy rain which leaves no food. Like, you literally you have homeless people on the streets of America. Like, this is the worst the homeless population has ever been, but yet you continue to give money to and foreign aid to these different governments and shit, man. But yet you're not even taking care of your own people. But yet these are the same people that pay taxes into your system, buying into your system, but yet you leave them out. Verses 8, it says, he that by usury and an unjust gain increases his substance. And you've used Issachar, you've used Judah, you've used all the tribes to build up your society, and we got nothing to show for it. And find out that a lot of them Native Americans that's receiving reparations, a lot of them are $5 Indians, man. Okay, you got a lot of Gadites out there that's not receiving any reparations, man, because they look black. All right, but it says here, he should gather it for him that will pity the poor. So you devils are going to pay, okay, because ultimately the Lord is getting ready to rise up our people to come up against you, and this is what we're seeing. All right, so matter of fact, let's do this. Let's go to the book of Genesis 49, because the tribes are going to come back together. This is the book of Genesis 49:8. It says, Judah, thou art who thy brethren shall praise, which Judah is I believe is the fourth son of Jacob, which Judah or Jew is just another way of saying Judah, okay, which the Jews can consist of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, because they're of the house of Judah, which is the southern kingdom. All right, but it says here, Judah, thou art whom thy brethren shall praise, and thy hand should be in the neck of thy enemies, and thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Because we always teach that once Jake get riled up, then everybody else is going to follow suit. So you see in the video I showed earlier that you got Jake out there, and they're talking about they're standing with Mexico, you know, the Venezuelans and all these other people. Because, see, the trick was to get a bunch of people over here to make it seem like they're doing evil, which I don't doubt that you got some assholes over here, sleeper cells and agent provocateurs, or paid agitators, as they like to call them, that have been sent to these cities to cause ruckus and chaos, to be justified on pushing certain narratives to say, see, look at these people. They're talking about at the border that the cartel was giving orders to use some type of air defense missiles. I don't know, some shit I was reading, but I didn't know the cartel had access to that type of artillery. And if they did, or if they do, then who are they getting that weaponry from? Okay, they're getting it from Esau, man. Because you got to understand that the cartels and these gangs, they work in tandem with the CIA to push certain agendas, man. Okay, but what about the Iranian nationals, the African nationals? What about the motherfuckers from the Ukraine that came over here? What about them? Why ain't nobody saying nothing about these men that has directly threatened your safety? Okay, men from Yemen and all that other shit. And found out that Biden was taking private jets and flying people from Israel over here, man, and putting them in here. But you don't hear about that. Okay, you only hear about the tribes. Oh, they're stealing, they're squatting on people's properties, they're doing this and this and that. But yet that's you. And it says here, Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey, my son. Thou art gone up, and he stoopeth down. He couched as a lion and as an old lion, and who shall rouse him up? Could this be the situation that rouse up Jake? I mean, shit, who knows? Because, I mean, Jake ain't rised up no other time. You know, you may have a few protests here and there, like the George Floyd shit. That shit got turned all the way up. Even Kansas, even here in KC, I was like, damn, you know, that shit is turned all the way up. But you had the George Floyd shootings, you had the Michael Brown shootings, you know, you had Oscar Grant, Sandra Bland, you know, those just a few names. Tamir Rice, that a lot of Jakes marched for, but other than that, they got rocked right back to sleep. So with these protests, eventually they're going to start targeting you ninjas, because Trump said it. He said, we're going to get people of our own society that's violent and get them up out of here. So if you a YN, you know what I'm saying, a YN, or you're a Kia boy, or you just some type of undesirable nigga, they going to use you to justify coming up against all of us. And maybe that's when Jake will rile up, man. Because find out that allegedly federal suits or whatever happened is doing away with your Black History Month. So I believe that they have a so-called ban on Black History Month, as I was looking at this article, but I didn't really get a chance to read it yet. Shit. Yeah, let's look here. Yep, federal agencies bar Black History Month and other special observances, meaning federal agencies, man. So I mean, they still can celebrate it, I guess, on a national, not on a basic level or state level, or what do you call local level. But as far as federal agencies, it says they bar Black History Month and other special observances. So they're targeting you. But it reads, it says, Judah is a lion's whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stoopeth down, and he coucheth as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? But the scepter should not part from Judah, nor the lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, which is Yahushai, and be unto him as the gathering of the people be. Okay? But the scriptures say that his hand should be in the neck of thy enemy. So Jake is going to rouse up. It's going to be one event, or a plethora of events that's going to cause Jake to really rouse up and say, you know what, enough is enough. Okay, so maybe these protesters may be the start of it. We don't know. Lord's will.
And let them deport them.
And no ICE in schools.
I'm a teacher, and I will fight like hell for my students. We are trained to protect our students, and of course we are going to protect our students.
Other signs said they're here for their parents who immigrated. Even students from San Diego State came in support.
Trump and all of his people are spreading this dangerous rhetoric that all immigrants are terrible people and that people are coming here to just commit crime, and it's completely against the facts.
Some spoke about having friends or family members who are worried that they're going to be deported.
They're deporting people that are hardworking people. I've seen people that are street vendors and getting deported. Those aren't criminals.
This is what's fueling the protests, where community activists and even children gathered. And hours later, police opened up streets, but when protesters blocked police cars, they used tear gas to disperse the crowd.
There were also people out here spreading information about immigrants' legal rights on here, telling them what they should do just in case an ICE agent comes to their home or place of business. Elizabeth Sanchez, CBS 8.
So we're watching prophecy go down, okay? So anyway, where did I leave off at? Salakia, man, I'm fucking under the weather. I haven't been under the weather in some time. That's how you know that they're spraying shit in the air. But anyway, Salakia, bear with me, brothers. I know I'm all over the place. Yep, but it says, whether it is common for illegals, I read that already, but it says the ongoing international scam has become a kind of institution, with certain U.S. businesses and industries getting labor for 30% less, while migrants get to comfortably feed off the system that U.S. taxpayers support. Which, you know, I mean, yeah, that's that you know, people was feeling some type of way about that. I mean, all of us to some degree, because, you know, we are paying taxes, but the biggest offense is you sending money to the Ukraine and Israel, bro. That's the biggest offense. If anything, you know, especially it's our money. But it is what it is. You the devil. But it says here, the scam is treated like a tradition. It is so entrenched that illegals are shocked and enraged that it might actually come to an end. But it's cultural phenomenon that most Westerners just don't understand. But in the third world, empathy and charity are often seen as signs of weaknesses. But if you give them an inch, they would take a mile, because this is how people learn to survive in places where corruption is the cultural norm. Damn. It says it's hard to say what could possibly come from these protesters other than making it easy for ICE to round up hundreds of migrants at one time. Yeah, because they're going to come with guns blazing. And the shit they don't show you on camera, that's the real ordeal. But it says the notions that illegal have a right to protest is all absurd. And if they want to serve themselves up on the platter for deportation, it's probably not going to bother Tom Homan, which Tom Homan is the devil. He's the devil.
Si quieres poco más, mi pobre corazón, me harás mil pedazos,
Yep, so shit is turning up, man. So anyway, let's go from here to the book of Zechariah 9. And I'm going to start at verses 11. It says, as for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I've sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein there's no water. And that pit is Babylon, man. And the water is talking about this understanding, this wisdom. Okay, even though the truth is here. But Jake has been made to thirst here because we're one time. We're not one time as in undisciplined, but we're wanting. We're basically in poverty. We have to go to our enemies for the one of all things. You want a job, you got to go to E. You know what I'm saying? You want a house, you got to go to E. You want a car, you got to go to E. You want a woman, you got to go to E. But it says, but turn you to the strongholds, ye prisoners of hope. Even today do I declare that I will render double unto thee when I've bent Judah for me and filled the bow of Ephraim and raised up thy sons, O Zion, against thy sons, O Greece, and made thee as a sword of a mighty man. And this is really talking about when the election get together, when the elect of both tribes or both kingdoms come together and the Lord raises us up. But even on a small level, you're going to have Judah and Ephraim, which is the representation of the northern and southern kingdom, that's going to come together and they're going to fuck you devils up, man. All right. They're getting ready to go to war with you. And it says, and the Lord should be seen over them, as his arrow should go forth as the lightning, and the Lord Yahweh should blow the trumpet and should go with whirlwinds of the south. Okay. So yeah, man, things are getting ready to take a turn to the left. Everything is getting ready to fall on its face. So us here, just stay diligent, stay in the spirit, continue to watch, like Yahweh shall say, pray. Therefore watch that you may be worthy to escape all these things and stand before the Son of Man. And that's our job, to watch and to report these things. So with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Shalom.